37. My girlfriend sucked 37 dicks.
In a row?
Put that cookie down now!
Did you fuck my mom, Santa Claus? Did you fuck my mom, Santa?
Hallelujah! Holy shit! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
You have a TV? No. I just like to read the TV guide. Read the TV guide. You don't need a TV.
South Special Christmas. Christmas.
I told you we should have not have seen it.
Over 1,600 titles, each for rent at just $2 the first night, and only
And for all these reasons, I've decided to scalp you and burn your village to the ground.
Now, I have to kill all of you.
Welcome to the Frog Brothers podcast with your hosts, Justin and Alec.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. And a Happy New Year.
Hello, and welcome to episode 37.
37?
You recorded 37 podcasts in a row?
Yeah.
Try not to record any podcasts on your way through the parking lot.
Hey, get back here.
So 37 episodes of the Frog Brothers podcast for your listening pleasure.
Oh, yeah, right in your ear holes.
We've got that microphone closer to Nick, so hopefully you can start hearing him better. He's shy. He's like the first time he puts a dick in his mouth. He's a little shy. It's like hovering right there. He just doesn't want to get right on it. Just do it. It's okay.
I don't want to use my teeth.
I was about to say, maybe we should just literally hollow out a big-ass dildo and put the microphone in it. He might be more comfortable putting his face closer to it then.
Then we just hear him gargling all the time.
True.
If he was a fucking villain of the Smurfs, he'd be called Gargle Mel.
Gurgle Mill. Oh, so I picked up the Gamer Gremlin at Target the other day.
Yes, you did. And I bought you the fucking Santa Claus Gremlin.
This is true.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
And I bought you the Back to the Future soundtrack that is a Walmart exclusive on vinyl right now.
Yeah, it's got that orange vinyl. Yeah. Featuring The Power of Love by Huey
All
Lewis
things are possible through God. That creepy guy.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking
basically.
about.
Exactly. So
the
Nick,
guy with a creepy eye.
How you doing over there, Sugar?
I'm doing quite fine. Thank you, Justin.
Oh, excellent. How about you, Alec? How you been?
I'm pretty, I'm kind of stoned. How are you?
Well, I mean, I had a rum and Coke, but, saving the
yes,
real
Justin
deal.
and I both are enjoying. What kind of rum is it, Justin?
It's just Bacardi Black rum.
And RC Cola.
Yes, Royal Crown Cola.
We shouldn't be saying Coke.
The official podcast cola. Nick's over here. He doesn't know how to use coasters, and he doesn't know how to drink.
Well, you know, sometimes it stays.
So if you already haven't subscribed to our YouTube, head on over there and do that. We last week released
Smash that like
episode
button.
of Spectre Vision. With,
smash that like button like we smashed Nick's mom.
Yeah.
But only do it once, or otherwise it'll unlike it.
Yes, that's a good point.
Anyway, last week we reviewed Black Christmas from 1974 in Spectre Vision on our YouTube, and this week we're doing the Black Christmas from 2006. That'll be out Friday, so...
Hopefully you're enjoying our Advent calendars. Alec is rocking the Gremlins version, and I have the Back to the Future version by Playmobil. Those are fun to do. Pretty impressed with that Back to the Future one so far. All the shit that comes with it and everything I've opened, I'm like, damn, that's nice.
Yeah.
Real nice, Clark. Get you something real nice.
So, did you see those Kong vs. Godzilla trailers? Or, not trailers.
Those new posters they released?
Today?
Yeah, they're fucking neon garbage. Like if a beginning designer had an obsession with neon and then got high and fell down a flight of stairs and then sat down on a laptop, or, yeah, probably a laptop if they're, a beginner.
It's not like it even looks like neon in a good way.
No, it's like neon in the way you're like, are you just bored or what? Because, like, those colors aren't going to be in the movie. Just give me a better movie posters.
Yeah, that looks like shit.
Like, I just like classic movie posters.
They must have figured, okay, well, since we're going HBO and we're not going to do big screens, we got to do shitty posters, too.
Yeah, that's a whole other fucking topic of conversation right there to get into.
Yeah, that was a good segue that you pointed out to the public now that they know our secret.
Our secret.
It's out.
As long as it's like McCain's secrets.
Which, that also means Space Jam 2 will not be seen in theaters. Well, I mean, potentially will also be, but, you know.
If Bill Murray's in it, don't give a fuck.
We'll see. They are having... Jim Carrey is reprising The Mask in it. Like, they're doing not just Looney Tunes this time.
Interesting.
So, it has potential to be just really fucking weird and bizarre in the same way like something like Ready Player One was. Which is not a great movie, but has, like, enough things going on, and you could, like, enjoy parts of it, I guess. I don't know. I didn't think it was great or anything, but...
Are all of these movies releasing concurrently at the theater, too? Or just Wonder Woman?
We'll see.
No, so what HBO announced, or Warner Brothers announced, is that everything will be on HBO Max for a period of 31 days on the launch date, and then it'll also be in theaters. So it looks like it's going to be a limited window release, but local theater in town that we love, the Screenland Armor. It sounded like Mike Tyson. Excuse me. He just had a fight in the media, so I'm going to talk like Mike Tyson for a minute. So the Screenland Armor is just talking about how that might impact their business and just what that's going to do to the industry as a whole. And I know everyone's like, let's get Ghostbusters Afterlife streaming. You're like, just fucking wait for the theater. You've waited 30 years. It's a fucking few more if we have to. I'll wait 2 more years if I need to. Get over it. And then people are losing their mind. They're like, why are they, I thought the movie was supposed to come out like last year. Why they just now finished it? Because they had additional time, dumbass.
I think they rescored it with the son of the original.
I don't think they'd scored it at all yet. I think they just took their
because
time.
They had stopped production at some point, and they were gonna finish it. And it was obviously just post-production at that point that they had to do. But then since they pushed the date back the first time, they're like, all right, fuck it, we'll take our time. And then they pushed it back.
I thought they had finished it.
No, they never finished it. It was never finished at any point. They never went back and redid anything. They just, they might have done additional stuff and added some stuff for sure and done additional ADR, but it was never finished before. So
okay.
Yeah, so I think it's just an easy way for them to just not be in a rush for it, which had to be nice, right? Because before you're pushing a pretty strict deadline, but now you had the time to do what you wanted and really hammer things out. So hopefully that works to the film's benefit. But
yeah, it could be the opposite.
There are some movies, though, like starting with Wonder Woman. We'll see how that goes. Like my podcast bet is that other theaters or not other theaters, but other companies in the industry are going to see how Wonder Woman does at the box office with the combination release and see what happens with that. So, see does that drive HBO Max subscribers, or does the box office bring in the return they're looking for? Right, we're going to see what happens there, and then I think we'll see other companies follow suit. If it's really successful. I'm not sure, though, but Ghostbusters needs to hit the theater.
Dune is one of those other movies that's going to be going straight there, which I don't even know how I feel about, because I was never a huge Dune fan, but I like to watch it every now and then. I like David Lynch, even though that's not really a very Lynchian movie. But... whatever, I'll watch it.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Any of that stuff there, the things I really want to see, I guess the only advantage of this is there's some shit that I'll probably watch because it's free because I've already got HBO Max that I may not have actually gone to the theater to see, but anything I want to see, I'm still going to go to the theater to see. So that's not going to change me, but what's that going to do to the average person, I guess, is really what the industry's waiting to see what happens.
Yep. You want to get into this, I'm still going. Mandalorian? Water cooler cold?
Fuck yeah, son. Let's do it.
Water cooler, cold, cold, cold. 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 Join the cold, cold. Water cooler, join the cold, cold. Drink it out. Join the cold.
So we're all the way to episode 14 of The Mandalorian.
Boba Fett! Boba Fett.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I need to call my brother. I forget my lawyer.
Yeah. So, you know, Boba Fett. Boba Fett. Boba Fett.
This is the thing that people's wet dreams are made of.
Pretty much. It's like you can't say Boba Fett's not a badass anymore.
Yeah.
Wrong. Wrong. Thanks to Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, and then the thing, I saw this amazing meme going around today that was like, it was suddenly thousands of Hasbro Pulse backers cried out in...
Oh, yeah, because the Razor Crest went boom.
Yes, because the Razor Crest go bye-bye. Exploded.
In the mar.
And I'm sure there's more than one ship like that, but, you know, we'll see. You're not going to fix that one, though. You're not going to reassemble that after the Jawas take it.
Nope. This was a good episode, a fun one, though. I about skeeted my pants when I saw the Slave One.
Yeah, Alec basically visually, if you were sitting next to him like I was, his eyes rolled back into his head. It looked like he was having a stroke, but... Well, I mean, he may have been. I really wasn't watching his hands.
He was Stroganoff.
And, yeah, he really, he was real happy. Real satisfied.
It's real nice, Clark.
Bingo.
So it's called The Tragedy.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. Whenever you hear that word in terms of Star Wars, it makes you immediately think of the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Yes, feel the hate flow.
Some consider it to be unnatural.
Exactly. So there's a lot going on in this episode, which worked well, right? They finally go to Tython, and then for everyone out there that's like, Tython's not canon, it's not covered with snow. You're like, motherfucker, there's this thing that most planets that revolve around other stars that are larger than them have called seasons. If you don't understand how that works, I highly encourage you to depart the planet we live on, because
that occurs when a planet spins on its axis at a tilt.
Okay, thanks there, nature boy.
I think.
You think? So you're out here spreading fake news, you fucking Donald Trump piece of shit?
Garbage. Human garbage.
And I guess Robert Rodriguez was a last-minute replacement director.
Well, they chose a good fucking director, goddamn.
Yeah, Robert Rodriguez.
I'm not sure who the original one was.
Who gives a fuck?
Right.
Doesn't matter at this point because, oh, and then funny side note, I also triggered some people on Facebook. A friend, a guy I went to high school with, was talking about Star Wars movies, and yeah, he was saying about, you know, like, oh, the Mando's good, and I'm like, yeah, now if they just give the reins over to Favreau and get rid of Kathleen Kennedy, and then he tried to defend Kathleen Kennedy, even though he's been writing all kinds of scathing reviews about the other sequel trilogy. It's fucking hilarious because I was like, oh, I can't even say everything I want to say on Facebook because I'll just look like a complete fucking terrible monster. So it's cracking me up though.
It almost took me to the edge.
Yeah. Well, edging's an art form, so we've all been on the internet. We know about it.
So there's also Dark Troopers, and they take the child.
Yeah,
so
they do a little kidnapping.
And
he is a kid, so it's appropriate that they're kidnapping, because when you kidnap an adult, that's another thing. You know, you don't actually... why is it called a kidnapping if it's an adult? That's a stolen person at this point.
Have we ever seen anybody but Darth Vader and now Grogu force choke somebody specifically?
Maybe David Carradine. And that was himself, and he died from autoerotic asphyxiation.
He didn't use the Force.
Yeah, he said force choke.
Oh, okay. Oh, got it. I gotcha, I see.
Yeah.
Oh. No, not yet. So, I mean, this just tells us that Grogu may not be,
My cousin David Carradine was a weird guy.
Jerked off in a hotel once by hanging.
Jesus. So what do you think? In these next two episodes, are we going to see...
Are we going to see Bo-Katan return?
The Bo-Katans?
Bo-Katan. And Ahsoka Raton. Ahsoka Tona.
This one's right for Edgar. I'll piss him off because I was saying Ahsoka Tano, and I think it's Ahsoka Tano. And I think that's how he's like, it's triggering me how you say that. So I'll say Ahsoka Tano, just like old fucking stupid people around here say Missouri, not Missouri.
I think it's Ahsoka Tano.
That's what I said, Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah.
But I said it Ahsoka Tano, and
I know,
it pissed Edgar off.
I try to correct you that one day.
No, don't correct me. I like triggering people. It's fun.
No, if you're doing it on purpose, okay.
It's not that I'm uneducated. It's just that I'm an asshole. When I need to be, or when it humors me.
Yeah. Also, Edgar, your Star Wars opinions are shit, and you should feel bad about them. Just throwing that out there due to a recent
Internet
discrepancy on our Facebook page that occurred.
Oh, God. Can we have you guys fight it out like a Tyson fight?
I'm pretty sure he called all of our opinions shit.
He was just trying to trigger us, though, just like we're trying to trigger other people, so I respect that. When you trigger the triggerer, is everyone triggered?
All right. Settle down, edgelord.
Well, he said our...
Triggering people just to trigger people is what 12-year-olds do.
He said our opinions were basically vanilla and boring because they were the common...
But they weren't very common.
The original trilogy was our top 3.
Coming from someone that never watched the...
Well, he meant the top 3. Yeah.
I don't care. I mean, there is no way to argue that there's anything better than the top 3 being those 3 films.
Coming from someone that probably never saw the pre-special editions before they came out, I can't really put a lot of weight into that person's evaluation.
I mean, that's true.
I mean, now younger people that didn't have that chance, now he probably had the chance. His family just didn't want to culture him, and it's fine. Not everyone's family wants to culture you with pop culture. It's it's debatable.
I remember watching them all on rented videotapes before the special editions came out, and then we did go and see the special editions in theaters. Which brings up another topic, Shadows of the Empire, which we'll be covering in January.
Yes.
The January special is all about Shadows of the Empire, so if you're not familiar, get acquainted, bust out that Nintendo 64, order the trade paperback book, order the hardcover book, order these things, watch the PC video.
Order the trading card, learn how to pronounce Seizor's name. I still don't even know if that's right. Seizor?
Yeah, that is.
Is it Seizor or Zizor? Hejor? Bijor?
Caesar.
Mijor?
He's a Jar Jar Binks!
We should do top 5 Star Wars characters sometime, and I'll do like Jar Jar Binks.
Are we
Nib Nib.
setting up a Frog Brothers Twitch account so that we can live stream playing the video game?
It's likely that we'll just stream to YouTube.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Never say never, but with the time frame we have and we don't have the 64 here yet, there's a few...
There's things that will happen.
Do you have the game, but not the 64?
No, we got the game in the 64, but Alan left it at my mom's house.
Yeah, I gotta go.
I have the 64, but I don't have the...
Is that at your mom's house?
No.
Oh, I was going to say, we can get it next weekend then.
I was about to say, I definitely might have left my...
Shorter drive over there.
It is there. It's tucked up in the living room because I left my copy of Shadows of the Empire there.
I'm not sure where my original copy of that game is.
Don't worry, I brought mine over there.
I do have a copy of the game over there on the bookshelf with all my other Shadows of the Empire books.
Oh, okay.
In media.
Fancy.
So there's a few things in this Mando episode, though, that people were really fascinated with. One was Jango Fett actually being a foundling and having fought in the Civil Wars, because I guess that kind of contradicted some stuff that was mentioned in the Clone Wars animated series. So where they said he wasn't. So there's more than one Mandalorian Civil War, but I don't think any of that really matters too much unless you're just trying to figure out why Boba Fett is the way he is right now.
Maybe Boba Fett was lying.
And Tigran and Baron O'Mayan.
To get his armor.
Or maybe the other people were wrong and misinformed in the Clone Wars.
Yeah. Exactly. There's lots of things
Whatever
going
you got to
on,
tell yourself to realize that this is the way.
This is the way. So, a hell of a fun episode. I did get a kick out of how Din was getting thrown away from the Seeing Rock anytime he's trying to grab Grogu.
I was getting pissed at him. I was like, are you stupid?
Yeah, it's like, how many times, like...
The definition of insanity.
Kept getting knocked out.
Yes. Trying the same thing over and over, expecting different results.
That's not actually the definition, but
I know. It's close enough, though. It's fun to say.
It's cringy and old people meme-ish, you old bastards. Get with it. Get with it. Get hip. I'm hip.
You're going to have a broken hip if you keep that attitude up, you bitch.
I already have a broken hip. Nick's mom slammed it. Hey, so the Mandalorian. I wore a Mandalorian helmet during. Anyway, yay.
Yeah, Boba Fett gets that armor, and everyone's like, he's fat. And I'm like, well, he's also wearing that fucking, like, cloak and dagger outfit underneath there, right? So it's like, yeah, he may not be fat. And plus, the actor's an older fella now, so he may not be as...
Oh, yeah, I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah, who cares?
And the original Boba Fett guy seemed pretty small in general.
Yeah.
True. But, I mean, you know...
In the original trilogy.
This has been roughly, what, 6 to 8 years?
Since...
This is 5 years after Return.
So that's fine. He can get fat in 5 years.
Well, yeah, especially if
Believe me, I've done it.
He's eating a lot of Womp Rat.
Yeah.
Or a lot of Tusken Raider pussy.
Out in the desert.
That was another controversial thing. Everyone's like, well, how did he get the Slave One back if he couldn't get his armor back? You're like, you ever heard of a spaceport called Mos Eisley? It's probably where his ship was.
Hey!
And you can't tell me a bounty hunter's not going to be able to go and fucking steal his own ship back. Like, I'm not too worried about that.
No.
And isn't that armor worth more than a ship?
Probably so.
How did they
metal,
make things
make it seem
float
like
with their minds? That's bullshit. That's not real. The Force, I don't believe in the Force. It's not real. How do the spaceships fly? Light speed. You can't travel the speed of light. Just, you know, making other stupid realizations and points here.
Yeah, that's fine. No, it's all good. So that's a hell of an episode. What was your favorite spot in that, Nick? What was your, like...
Probably the same thing, seeing Slave One fly by.
That was your vinegar strokes moment?
Unfortunately, it was already spoiled for me that Boba Fett was going to appear. But
Same. I knew it was going to happen because people were saying, it was great to see blank back in his blank, and then there was a picture of Boba Fett down below, and I was like, cool!
Yeah,
thank you!
Because I didn't watch it immediately when it releases on Disney like I normally do, so within 12 hours I was spoiled.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. This is one of those series that, like, ever since it launched, like, last year, you know, because, like, people in the UK had no idea, but everyone that was on international media just realized, like, oh, it's all spoiled.
I usually try to watch it right at 2 a.m., but I didn't this week.
So that was kind of wild.
Yep, I liked seeing Boba Fett do some ass whooping with whatever they call the Tusken Raider weapon.
Seeing the Razor Crest be destroyed was surprising and really stood out.
Yeah, that was a bit shocking, right?
I thought it was funny.
Well, you're just going, so is he eventually going to end up in the Slave One? I think that'd be kind of the wrong move. Like, I think you just leave that where that's at, right? Get him another whip to fly around in.
Yeah, I think they'll just give him a different ship that doesn't look like the Razor
Ultimately,
Crest.
though, for now, at least we're going to see him flying around with
Boba
Fett.
Yeah. And what's the that woman's name that's with him?
I did not pay attention to her at all.
She was in a previous episode.
She was great, but like there was,
isn't that her?
Yeah, but there was Boba Fett, so that's all I could pay attention to.
Yeah. No, I like how he saved her, and then she's indebted to him, right? And then
she showed her robot guts.
Yeah, and now she's they're both indebted to Din, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So these next 2 episodes are going to be huge, and everyone that's thinking like, oh, we're going to get like a good ending. No, we're not. We're going to get a giant fucking cliffhanger. So just prepare yourself to be triggered by the end of episode 8 of season 2.
Isn't that a Sylvester Stallone movie?
What?
Cliffhanger?
Yes.
It is.
And John Lithgow was the villain.
Nice.
Go on, get out of here. We don't want you anymore.
That's what he said to Sylvester Stallone. Oh, wait, no, it was Harry and the Hendersons. My bad.
So that's The Mandalorian. I mean, we pretty much said everything we need to say, unless you guys want to throw any ideas out there what you think's coming.
Well, I was going to point out, you see yellow stormtroopers in this one with the yellow lining around their helmet for the first time, and I guess that means that they launch mortars. That's their specialty, is artillery.
Yeah, we hadn't seen that before, and that was pretty cool to see, right? Some standard warfare tactics. The other thing I thought was really well done in this episode is when they're setting the mortars up, like you see them actually taking everything, and then the big laser turret they set up, like they actually have to go and set all that up, so you see a bunch of people getting mowed down while they're trying to prep the munitions and stuff. So I thought that was felt like real war, real battle for the Met from everything I've seen on like the vintage World War II footage or anything, you know, any of the movies recreating that. I thought that was well done.
Yeah. Solid episode.
And then, of course, you know, they got to play at your heartstrings with Den going and grabbing the silver ball from the shifter. And...
Silver balls.
Silver balls.
It's Christmas time in
with
my
the Mando.
anus.
Is that ball made of
different
the
song?
same metal as his armor?
No, but he did grab that Beskar.
Seems like it. Oh, the spear.
The Beskar spear he got in the previous episode, so be curious to see what happens with that.
Hopefully he stabs someone.
And it was pretty badass to see Boba Fett launch that fucking rocket off his jetpack and take those ships out. And he's like, I was aiming for the other one. You're like, oh, actually, this one worked better because the one that was higher up crashed into the one below it, so you took them both out. So, pretty good stuff. And then, of course, Grogu force choking these people and throwing them around, but then he gets tired all the time. It's kind of like how guys get after they get laid. You know, they're just like fucking passing out, like, I'm done.
Yeah.
There's a meme of that.
You just rub one out.
Oh, it wasn't just me?
No.
Oh.
I didn't have to rub. It was the first, what would you call that, a pre-jack? A pre-jacked. I pre-jacked all over my, cleaned up on my dick.
Oh, that's Alec. He's special.
Yeah, special. Special K.
All right, so moving right along.
Footloose and fancy free.
Retro release review!
Getting there is half the fun. Come share it with me.
You know what I just watched? Me pulling a can off some moron's fist? Return of the Jedi.
Did you see Alien? When that creature was in that guy's stomach?
Oh my god! Oh my god!
You ever seen that really old movie? Empire Strikes Back?
Jesus, Tony.
Welcome to Retro Release Review.
Retro Release Reviews.
Trading Places. Brought to you by your penis.
This week's movie is Trading Places from 1983.
It's because my penis trades places.
Starring Dan Aykroyd and
with
Eddie
your mouth
Murphy.
and your butt.
Alec is truly high right now.
You have no evidence of this.
Well, I don't need to document evidence of you doing weird shit. If we did that, we'd probably have a fucking Kardashian-style TV show. Yeah, keep going. I like that. Oh, yeah. So Trading Places. I remember seeing this some point in time on one of the pay movie channels growing up, and it's fucking gold.
1983. Directed by John Landis.
Dan Aykroyd.
Eddie Murphy.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Denholm Elliott.
Mm-hmm.
That's the guy from Raiders of the Lost Ark that helps Indiana Jones, and he's also the butler in this.
Well, I think he's a better butler than he is in Indiana Jones.
Yeah. His character's kind of just...
He's more developed here.
He's more of a framing device in the other ones. Like, he's just barely kind of there. Well, Last Crusade, he has a little bit more going
He's
on.
mostly contextual, like convenience.
He's okay, but it's cool to see him more than once in movies. Yeah. This was originally written as a Gene Wilder, Richard Pryor vessel.
And it was directed by John Landis. Matter of fact, we had to look it up after
The Twilight Zone.
After the Twilight Zone incident. If you don't know what the Twilight Zone incident is, look it up, because that movie was fucking cursed. Also starring Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, and then he went on to direct this, right? Like right after.
It was a much better rebound than that. So
John Lithgow was in it as well.
there's a lot of people.
Yeah. That's pretty fucked up, though. That's one of those fucked up things that created a bunch of new movie laws. It's the first time a director had been charged for any kind of murder or homicide or manslaughter, whatever it was.
Yeah, manslaughter, I think, is one.
Yeah, that's what I think. This movie, the wager thing, is kind of reminiscent of the God and Satan in the Bible.
Oh, yeah.
When they're wagering about, I believe it's Job or whatever. And, like, seeing if he'll stay loyal if they take away all of his shit.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that's what it's 100% based off of.
Which is just funny because both of these characters are terrible people, just like God and Satan.
Exactly, right? Dan Aykroyd's like a stuck-up fucking asshole that's just like up to do. And
that's not what I meant. I meant the other two characters.
Oh,
characters doing the shit to them. They are God and Satan.
Placing the bet. Yeah,
they are God and Satan, fucking with people's lives, watching it crumble. But they're the racist old fucks. Those people are God, so they are very terrible.
There is some shit in this movie, and this movie's a really good movie too. It's really funny, but there is some shit in this that is not fucking aged well.
Is Dan Aykroyd canceled? Confused face like this on a YouTube
yeah, they
video?
tried to cancel Robert Downey Jr. from Tropic Thunder, but...
Yeah, it's just a sign of the time in the writings, and like it just shows you how far we've actually come. So I guess that's one way to look at it, right? We've made progress. We've gotten better. We still got work to do, but there's some good things going on, so I can appreciate that.
Yeah, the principal from Breakfast Club's in this as the guy doing all the shady shit that gets him Dan Aykroyd fired, the master manipulator guy that they pay off.
Mess with the bully, get the horns.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he's good in that role too, right? This role's a little more subdued, obviously, than that, but he plays
Spoiler
a good
alert,
asshole.
he does get raped by a gorilla at the end of the movie.
Yes, that's
so
one...
I don't know how subdued it really is, but he doesn't have to do much of a performance there. It's more of an off-screen implied thing, but it happened.
I just mean his screen time's way less in this. So.
Oh, yeah.
So we get introduced to Dan Aykroyd, and they're in the whole pork belly market, right? So they're in stocks and basically perishable stocks. It's kind of what they're setting up to do for this, which is a weird fucking choice to me. I was like, why the fuck are you choosing pork belly? And then the big scheme
because it's used to make bacon.
Yeah.
Commodities. Do you know what commodities are?
Yeah.
I already had breakfast, gentlemen. That's my Eddie Murphy for you, because I'm not going to do a real Eddie Murphy because it'd be terrible. And
No, there's
bad.
Some things you don't talk about in public. No, speaking of Eddie Murphy, though, I love it when we're introduced to him because he's fucking out there scheming on the streets on this half-ass skateboard, acting like his legs don't work, and he's wheeling around doing all kinds of shit.
He has no legs.
This isn't really a great Dan Aykroyd movie. It's a great Eddie Murphy movie.
Oh, yeah. Dan Aykroyd's really just kind of he plays a straight guy for the most part, and he's the second...
He performs it great. Once he is like hanging out with Jamie Lee Curtis, he gets to be more funny and shit, but...
The first third of the movie, right, the opening act, he is not very entertaining. Like, he's just a plot device at that point. He becomes a lot better once you see him actually, like, down and out on his ass, actually having to get back up.
One of the best parts of the movie is when he's dressed as Santa Claus doing all the shenanigans. That shit rules. And that's comedy gold, too.
Yes. Yeah, that's why it's on this Christmas list, too, if you weren't aware, because it takes place through Christmas and New Year's, so...
Yeah.
Right before. So they bet $1 that...
I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck that. Oh, no. So they bet this whole movie's based on this $1 bet, and then they got to come back and fight it on. What the fuck are you laughing at, Nick?
That's reaction.
Because when you were just like... It seemed like you had just had like a brain stroke or something. Like, you just reset. You were like, reboot. And I was just like... What just happened?
What just happened? Just leave it out there with the other ones, greaseball.
May or may not actually have happened.
I don't know.
One thing that I didn't remember was Eddie Murphy just kind of, his character just adjusts to his new lifestyle very quickly.
Well, I think what's best about this movie, though, and why Eddie Murphy works so well is because he's immediately, like, great at the job he gets, right? They put him in there as a fucking idiot. And
he already knows, like, the
he's
strategy.
a scam artist. He's a smart guy. He just isn't applying himself. So that's what works. And then you see, like, that Dan Aykroyd has, like, lived a life of privilege, so he can't fucking function without people wiping his ass.
And Eddie Murphy has, like, morals because there's, like, naked girls in his bed, and he's like, man, get your clothes on, get out of here.
Yeah.
Like, fuck this. I ain't no.
No, Eddie Murphy does a great role in there. And, like, you can see some of the, like, Coming to America type stuff that comes like later on with the multiple type of characters and the scenarios in here. Like, you really get those vibes. So they basically go do that whole nature versus nurture, the Duke brothers, and they just remind me of the old fucking farts from
Muppets.
Yeah, the Muppets.
So you were gonna say Sesame Street?
Yeah, they're fucking Muppets.
You dumb bastard!
They're goddamn puppets. You
it's not a
son of
schooner;
bitch.
it's a sailboat.
A scooter is a sailboat. You doo-doo head.
You know what? There is no Easter Bunny. That's just a guy in a suit.
That's true.
We're fresh with the Mallrats quotes tonight.
But also, they show up in Coming to America, the two brothers. They have a cameo. The characters.
Oh no shit. Okay, I haven't seen that.
They're like homeless living on the street. Yeah,
that's awesome.
I've only watched Coming to America a few times, but I do have it on.
We'll
DVD,
have to revisit it for the sequel.
Yeah.
And then for anyone that's obviously a Ghostbusters fanatic, Elmer Bernstein scored this, right? So you really get some of that with the horn section, the brass section, all that stuff. It's pretty awesome.
And as far as Dan Aykroyd's age, this is as close as you'll get to Ghostbusters also. The first one, because he looks just the same, basically. I mean, his hair is styled, fashion, he acts different, but, like you can tell his face shape and everything is the same as Ghostbusters.
Yeah, this had to have shot pretty close to the same time when it came out. So he probably filmed this, then wrote Ghostbusters, and then shot Ghostbusters. So
I think he had written Ghostbusters before that, but
well, I mean the rewrites with Harold and
for sure
Ivan.
One of the best lines in this movie is when the guy from Breakfast Club, the principal, I don't know this character's name in this, I forgot it. Say it a couple times though. Is when he says, "I will rip out your eyes and piss on your brain."
Yeah, that's a good one. You don't realize how dark this movie is either, right? So,
and speaking of this movie being dark, Dan Aykroyd's in blackface.
Yes, that's one of the things that didn't age well, and that's like near the end of the movie. He plays like a Rastafarian, basically, on his train.
Yeah. It's fucked up.
But he also attempts suicide in this movie. Like, he takes a bunch of pills, drinks a bunch, he just fucking tries to check out, and then, like, they save him, and the doctor's, like, leaving the house, and they're like, oh.
He also pulls the trigger with a gun to his head, and it doesn't go off, but then he...
Yeah, and then he
goes off when he puts it away from his head.
Yeah. That was, that's a great scene, though.
Yeah, it's... If you've ever dealt with any of that kind of stuff in your life, you're like, that's some real shit right there. Oh, and then the whole, like, side plot of, like, Dan Aykroyd getting, like, his fiance to, like, look down on him at the country club and everything else. That's kind of... There's some entertaining moments in there. Like, the thing that was real cringeworthy, though, was, like, the whole fucking a cappella group in there. You're just like...
Well, it's supposed to be cringy, but they just let it go on too long, so it's too much cringe.
Yeah, yeah.
You're supposed to feel like, ooh, these are some fucking cringy-looking dudes. Look at them in their... They're all, like, fucking wearing short shorts and their hairy-ass fucking goddamn Alf-looking legs and shit.
I was going to say, they look like they're on the fucking set of Teen Wolf as a stuntman.
Yeah. Goddamn.
Do you guys know the connection between this movie and The Mandalorian?
No? What is it?
The actor that plays Moff Gideon is a cellmate in the prison.
I was going to say that. I forgot.
Cellmate number 2.
Cellmate number 2. Everyone starts somewhere, folks. Don't ever let someone tell you can't follow through on your dreams. You may start out an extra and end up in a fucking starring role.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Nick's mom. She started out as an extra.
She started out as a fluffer. And now she's still a fluffer.
Someday Nick might get tired of this. But for now, he's having fun.
Someday. Somehow. I'll make it up to him. Flintstones, the movie quotes for you, folks. We got the best, only the hottest quotes from the hottest new movies here.
Hottest
the most
new movies?
successful franchises. John Goodman and the Flintstones movie, ladies and gentlemen.
Then they get the ending of this, and they finally fuck them over so bad and bankrupt them.
There's actually a law, or like, that's called the Eddie Murphy rule or something now was created because of this movie and shit.
Yeah, I was just reading that.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting stuff. I didn't read too much into it because I don't care too much about that shit, but hey.
Yeah, it's basically just shows you insider trading. So, insider information on that. They try to corner the market on it, and then these guys take their money and come out ahead, and it's a very satisfying ending for a movie, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't know how much you hate those guys until you see them, like, get fucked over, and you're like, yeah, that feels good.
Yep.
So, you better hope you, goddamn fucking right-wingers don't let those goddamn Antifa people see this flick, because they might get fucking upset about how to overthrow the systems here, see, and how the rich and powerful, the 1%ers are always so strong and angry and just screwing over the little people.
In 2010, the Eddie Murphy rule became part of the Wall Street Transparency and Accountability Act to prevent what happened in this movie.
It took that long for that law to be enacted after this movie came out? That just shows you how fucking shady that shit is.
At all, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm surprised they made it a rule at all.
It was only 23 years? 33 years? 23 years.
This came out in 1983.
Yeah.
You said that happened when?
2010.
Well, that's 27 years, son.
Whatever.
Math is not Nick Strong's suit.
83. Okay, yeah.
Math. Hey, Nick, can I borrow $100,000? I'll pay you back 67.
Yeah.
Isn't there a candy bar called $100,000?
There is. That's why
I'll
it
give
was
you that.
funny.
Yeah.
I figured that'd be a funny way for
All
you.
of your mom's holes are filled.
Did you?
How many dicks does she have in her?
Did you eat that whole Snickers bar?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Damn.
What, you want some?
Yeah.
Well, if you want some, I'm going to have to barf it up for you.
Quick.
Get a plate.
Do Mama Bird to me.
Oh, yeah. We'll have to do that. Save that for the episodes where we got a camera. Do the baby bird.
Or OnlyFans.
I was listening to the H3 podcast the other day, and they had someone who called in, and they're one of the top like 1%ers on OnlyFans, which is one of those things that
everyone says
exactly,
they are. Yeah.
and they show that they are or whatever. It doesn't make any sense, but
well, I think
either way, this is a girl that liked to be pooped on, and it was pooped on in her videos and shit, and it was fucked up and messed up. And if you're ever curious about that stuff, not in a curious like sexual way, but you're curious like, what the fuck? What could make you want to be shat on?
What kind of child abuse or emotional abuse?
She had
or
mommy
whatever?
and daddy issues, she revealed. And I was like, man, I relate to that. I'm into some fucked up shit, but I'm not into that fucked up of shit.
Yeah.
I think there's so many girls on OnlyFans, and most of them aren't great. So the ones you do see and hear about...
That's a bold-ass statement.
...are in the top 1%, right?
You're going to piss off some women that don't listen to this.
But there's... But there's going to be a top 1%, and they're all going to be the best, and that's the ones you're going to hear about.
The best, sir. He's like really excited. He has no idea why we're here. Men in Black, ladies and gentlemen, 1997.
So I think now
hot hits for you.
So many girls are doing it.
Well,
and why not?
Well,
I would be.
I mean, I don't care. It's like sex work should be legalized, in my opinion. I just think people should be able to do what they want as long as they're being careful and not hurting anybody. I don't give a fuck what people do.
If it gets me better gifts at Christmas for my girlfriend, I don't care if she's making videos.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, if it makes them happy and they're working, they're like I said, if they're safe, they're not hurting people. Right now, if you want to be hurt, like BDSM, all that kind of stuff,
you know what?
That's fine. Do your
thing. If your girl has a job that she goes to, she's more likely going to cheat on you at that job.
See, what
than
I'm
making an OnlyFans.
What I'm more concerned about is finding a girl who wants to make an OnlyFans page with me.
Yes.
So therefore, I'm the talent in it.
I've talked to this about several girlfriends. I was like, we can make. I mean, people, well, maybe not us, but some people make 6 figures just making sex videos and selling them to porno.
You can still be chubby and unattractive, and as long as there's some sex to be had on film, you will still get paid for it. It just
everyone
depends on
has their
scale.
preference on how on kinks and types of girls, and even if
everyone does have a preference.
Even if you've got a large girlfriend, there's going to be someone into it. There's going to be lots of people.
Oh yeah.
So don't think that your large girlfriend can't make videos.
Or your large boyfriend.
Yes.
And now if you start bringing animals in there, we're going to have a real fucking problem, because that shit's sick.
Well, there's usually cats or dogs that jump up on the bed when these girls are making their videos.
I know.
For some reason, don't lock the animals out of the...
I'm talking about the reason you are not allowed to take pets into Walmart anymore to buy peanut butter.
Why wouldn't you be allowed to take your pet?
Because of what you did last time you did that?
But you're not putting peanut butter on your junk in Walmart.
Well, that's why you got kicked out. You explained that one to me. You didn't know that before. He tried to play that.
Riddle me this, Nick.
He tried to pull that fucking Dave Chappelle skit. He's like, sorry, officer, I didn't know I couldn't do that.
You don't get the crunchy because you don't want them biting. You get the creamy.
You're sick, Mav. You know, that's just sick.
I just have them trained. You just have to get the peanut butter jar and set it on the counter, and then you don't even have to use the peanut butter anymore.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ.
Challenge the master. Schrodinger's penis.
Muscle memory.
Yeah, Alec is all like, I'm going to one you up. I'm going to one up you.
No, I didn't mean Schrodinger's penis. I meant Pavlov's penis. That's funny. Pavlov's penis. Every time you put the peanut butter jar on the table, the dog licks your balls, honey. Why is that? I have no idea, honey. That's pretty fucking weird, isn't it?
That is weird. That's real weird.
Honey, why are we all out of peanut butter again? I just love peanut butter and jelly, babe.
Why we got
peanut butter and jelly?
Why does the dog's red rocket launch every time they make a sandwich?
Why does the job have...
What is the job?
Why does the dog have a job at the makeup counter?
Oh my God. This is way out of
Hey, honey. Hey, honey. Want to watch me put on some lipstick?
Oh, lipstick. I got you.
Ooh, I like the shade. Oh, God.
I think they've shut down most makeup counters now due to COVID.
Yeah.
My dog runs a makeup counter. 2 different shades, because I got 2 different dogs.
Oh, my God.
Hey, if you're still listening, Trading Places with Dan Aykroyd and Dog Lipstick. You want to move on to our top 5?
Can we? Jesus Christ.
Dog penis.
Top 5. Top 5 dog treats.
Number 1, dick.
Peter's gonna shut us down.
We're having a good time out here.
Hey, you eat meat, we don't, so you're the sick one over here.
I do eat meat.
The only meat I eat is the roast beef your mom makes.
When they perfect that fake meat, I'll probably get off the animals.
Get off the animals now. Stop fucking them.
You get off on animals anyway. I've seen your webpage history.
So.
Top 5. 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 Top 5.
This is top 5.
We're doing top 5 fictional toys.
We're going to try to bring this back to something that's not a complete shit show for a few minutes. No promises after that.
Yeah. So, top 5 fictional toys. And this can be things like sporting toys, board games, etc., etc. So,
your Rocket Man dolls, or Turbo Man dolls. Why did I say Rocket Man?
Since it was my idea, you get to go first.
All right. Well, my number 5 is a Good Guy doll from Child's Play.
That's an obvious one I didn't think of.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. As a kid, you're like, oh, that's kind of a neat doll. Too bad it becomes a terrible murderer. Still kind of neat,
not
though.
all of them, just one.
More than one. He takes over more than one body.
I mean, yeah, true, if you include the sequels, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And the cool thing about that is that's one they've never actually just tried to replicate and just sell a Good Guy doll. Like, they've done the versions of Chucky that look a little more like Chucky, but not the generic doll. So,
what do you mean?
In real life, you know, lots of these products we'll discuss have actually
They're all the generic ones, but they're the generic ones that have the red hair and stuff. Like, not the other looking Good Guy dolls, if you were implying that or anything.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Like, you know,
I want that full size.
So do I.
Yeah.
My number 5 is Jumanji.
Ooh, I like it.
The board game. That'd be pretty fucked up. Play with some enemies. Be like, all right, here, motherfucker, you go first. All right, I quit.
Oh, yeah, because you could just quit mid-game like happened.
You could just have one fucked up thing happen to them and then just walk away, close the board game.
That's actually a pretty good,
And then you could just add another player each time.
That's actually, like, sounds like a better, darker sequel to Jumanji. If someone just uses that as a revenge plot. A revenge device. Just everyone they don't like in life, they go get stuck in that board game.
That'd be fucking hilarious.
That's a good one, I think.
What year is it? That's from that movie.
Yes, it is.
All right, so my number 4 is a good old-fashioned Buzz Lightyear. It's a classic one there from a Disney flick. It was an entertaining toy.
You're fucking up my list here.
Why?
Go ahead.
I have my list, you have your list. That's why we're doing this. Because if we had the same list, this wouldn't be entertaining to anybody besides us.
Go ahead.
So Buzz Lightyear is a cool little action figure. Had lights and sound, and he's mentally unstable. So what's not to like?
My number 4 is the Good Guy doll.
Okay.
So there's not much else to say.
Would you have wanted the Good Guy doll as a kid?
No. It's only cool because it's attached to Child's Play.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
So my number 3 is Turbo Man from Jingle All the Way. Again, another...
I prefer Booster.
Yeah. He was. I mean, yeah, but if you're talking about just something iconic people would recognize probably just from seeing, yeah.
Nobody likes Booster.
Well, yeah, he's a peg warmer. So what's your number 3?
My number 3 is going to be Woody.
Okay.
I wrote Woody/Buzz because I just want to, you know, it's like some of the stuff in Toy Story is based on real things, like the army soldiers and stuff.
Yeah.
But these were created for it specifically, and they're the two most iconic characters from it and everything, so that was kind of my reasoning for that. But Woody is just a more enjoyable character for me. He's fucking hilarious and deranged in that first movie. And Tom Hanks is great, so.
Yep. So my number 2 is the Mattel hoverboard from Back to the Future 2.
Number 2.
What's not to like about the hoverboard? And obviously it's the one Marty used, so you got to use that. I mean, I prefer.
I think that would be number 1 if it was actually real. You know, that would be something you would really want.
Would it be number 1? It's interesting, huh?
Yes, there.
So what's your number 2?
My number 2 is the Commando, Elite, and Gorgonites from Small Soldiers.
Excellent. That was an honorable mention for me on my list, but didn't quite make it. I was a little too old when that came out, but I know you really enjoyed that flick when you were...
It's not like... The soldiers are pretty generic and shitty looking, but the Gorgonites are very original and very interesting for like... They look like something that would have existed.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So it's like, that's where it gets points there. Plus that's, you know, Joe Dante movie. We're going to cover that at some point, but I love that movie. What's your number 1?
My number 1 is the Talk Boy. So the Talk Boy was originally made for Home Alone 2. It was a non-functioning prop in production, and they actually asked Tiger Handheld Electronics to make that. The original one came out after the movie, I believe, or right around then, but it wasn't an actual product when they shot the film. The first version didn't have any of the speed warping. It was just basically a notes taker, a memo machine, right? And then the deluxe Talk Boy came out in 1993, actually had the additional features on it. So to me, I just thought that was pretty cool because out of all these things on this list, that was the one I wanted the most, just because I'd seen Back to the Future when I was a little bit younger, but by the time Home Alone was around, that was when you're really like, fuck, I need that. Like, that's something I need in my life.
They had it out that holiday season, didn't they?
Yeah, but when they actually shot the movie, it wasn't actually a real product yet, right? So they made that, and then they decided to market it as well. So
my number 1 is the Mattel hoverboard because I feel like there is no better product that I would have rather had from any other movie.
Yeah.
Not even just toys. Like, I can't even think of, like, anything in a movie that I've wanted as much as that, other than, I don't know, maybe a proton pack, but, you know, what am I going to really do with a real proton pack versus a real hoverboard?
Murder.
Yeah.
Exactly. Murder, particle acceleration.
Burn down people's houses, catch ghosts that I don't really believe in. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. So,
And the proton pack is not a toy.
Yeah, the other honorable mention for me was the movie Remote. It was an early 90s flick about this kid that like would build remote control cars from kits, and I don't think those were anything that were easy to find or get your hand on. So,
Nukem from RoboCop was an honorable mention. It's like a game that looks sort of like Battleship meets Risk, but it's like about nuclear fallout and borders and shit. There's a funny trailer for it on TV, like a TV commercial for it in RoboCop. The Indian in the cupboard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of generic and stuff, but it's just it's an honorable mention for sure. Because that movie, when you're watching that as a kid, when you see like Darth Vader come to life, you're like, fucking A. And there's like a dinosaur in there that like Darth Vader's fighting off a fucking T-Rex.
So you wouldn't rather have a 6-inch Indian than a hoverboard?
No. Okay. See,
that was alive and talked to you.
Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh is a good honorable mention, right?
I'm just, you know, as an adult, I don't give too much of a shit about it. If I had kids, I'd be like, here, watch this shit, and I would watch it with them just for, like, the nostalgia factor. But, you know. So that's that. I also had Turbo Man and Booster on my honorable mentions, so.
Yeah, so that's a fun one. So join us online, won't you please, and tell us what your top 5 fictional toys are. So if you think of anything amazing that we forgot, we'd sure like to know.
Comment down below on YouTube.
Comment on YouTube.
And don't forget to smash that like button.
Just like we smashed Nick's mom.
So you want to talk about Christmas Vacation?
Fuck yeah, let's do it.
You know what I just watched?
Me pulling a can off some moron's fist?
Return of the Jedi.
Did you see Alien? When that creature was in that guy's stomach?
Oh my god!
You ever seen that really old movie? Empire Strikes Back?
Jesus, Tony.
Welcome to Retro Release Reviews.
So we're talking about probably one of the greatest Christmas movies ever made, ever will be made. And, that's just Christmas Vacation. What the fuck else would you expect? Clark W. Griswold Jr.
It's a glorious movie.
Starts out with that amazing little animated intro of Santa Claus getting fucked up, which is pretty amazing because like it's so uncharacteristic for that series.
You got the 80s Christmas music going there too. It's pretty glorious. Late 80s like pop tunes, you know.
Yep. I feel like this is a song that should have been released on its own, but they just fucking failed to do that because who doesn't like that song?
Yeah. Yeah, the animation I always liked as a kid, actually.
Oh, yeah, it's a huge hit,
It's
right?
pretty funny.
It's a great way to start the flick.
Yeah. The beginning sequence is always it's always great. The whole Christmas tree thing, and they're driving, and once he starts fucking swerving under the semi-truck and he's dealing with the fucking people in the pickup truck, all that shit rules. It's hilarious.
There's just so many iconic things in this movie. It's like so easy to quote. Like we watched Cinemassacre talk a little bit about this earlier, just kind of seeing what their take on it was, and I guess everyone probably has a different take on this, but for me, like this is just one of the ultimate movies because it just shows how fucking dysfunctional family is.
Yeah.
Right? It's the realest thing. Like you can watch a Hallmark movie where everyone pretends like they're all normal all the time, but
if only dysfunctional families were this funny.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, they're funny.
Well, they're funny when you write about it to other people, right? Like if we had gone to your Thanksgiving, like we probably would have laughed our asses off. But you, in the moment, you had to deal with reality there. So I get that.
Wish I had Aunt Bethany.
That's why.
We also come from a trauma house, let's just say. So it's naturally unfunny in that regard.
Yes, there's some things in this and just the way that's all done. Even in, well, we'll talk about that in Spectrovision for sure on the next Black Christmas we talk about. But there's some fucked up stuff in these that you're just like, yeah. Unfortunately, that's way too relatable, which is what makes it funnier now, right? Because humor is a way of coping with darkness, trauma.
I don't know if their family is really dysfunctional. It's just different people with that conflict.
I think that's like the definition of dysfunctional. Not functional.
I guess I'm thinking more of the abusive kind of and traumatizing.
Oh, well, ours is definitely... You get the really... I think the trauma from this mostly comes from the police shit at the end, Clark's fucking rant.
Yeah, there's
all
some
that kind
shit
of violent
in there, yeah.
shit like that. The cat dying and nobody giving a fuck. Like, that's the weird, actually fucked up shit in there.
Yes, there's the things in there that are, like, true to life that are, like, scary because no one acknowledges them or they just kind of ignore them. And then there's, like, the stuff that, like, yeah, the family gets along pretty well for 75% of the time, but 25% of that time is utter fucking chaos. And that 25% chaos can really fuck things up in real life.
I wrote down some of my favorite quotes from this movie as we ran around it this time, and them. You know, there's lots of them that are very popular quotes and stuff. Like, you got, of course, shitter was full and all that stuff that everybody fucking knows.
Yeah, every dumbass with the fucking Etsy page, like, puts the most generic bullshit from this movie on there to sell. Like,
Aunt Bethany lines are the best, and whatever. What's her husband's name? The guy with the toupee?
Yeah. Well, let's just get to these three that I have written down here. The first one I wrote down was Clark, right after his meltdown, after he goes outside and cuts down the tree. He's inside and he's washing his hands like a fucking madman in the bathroom.
Yeah, to get that tree sap
and
off.
And Ellen comes in there and is like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm fine. We need a coffin, a tree." And just the weird, fucked up, whatever he was thinking about. We needed a coffin. I love that. Then the classic,
You couldn't hear a dump truck driving through a nitroglycerin plant.
That's amazing. Yes, that's true.
And my last one is a newer quote that I've recently gained new appreciation for, which is the just don't piss me off, Art.
Yeah. One of my favorites that sticks out that's like an unsung hero in this movie to me is if I woke up with my head stapled to the floor tomorrow, I wouldn't be more surprised than I am right now.
Doesn't he say head sewn to the carpet?
Sewn to the carpet.
Oh,
yeah.
sewn to the carpet. Okay, I don't know why I say stapled. I just think that's like way more vulgar.
Drive out in the middle of nowhere, leave you for dead.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's classic too, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
that's recently gained new attention, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and then of course his whole profanity-laden speech that I can't quote right now, but it's glorious. But I'm not going to take the time to learn all that.
No, he says a few things like dog kissing, spotty lipped,
hopeless, heartless, dickless asshole.
Yeah.
I mean there's some classics in there. You get the basics out of that, but there's some real.
You learn enough of them, you can spout them out and be pretty on.
Yes, and then the thing about this movie, and the other vacation movies have some of it, but if you really just watch Chevy Chase's performance in here for his fucking physical comedy too, it takes this movie up an entire notch. Like, there's something I noticed when Alec and I watched this the other night that I hadn't really noticed before. So when they're all running down the stairs, running away from the squirrel and the dog again.
Fuck, are you playing the drums over there? God damn.
So when they're running down the stairs, though, like, you see Chevy Chase, like, sliding down the stairs like no one else is. It looks like he's skiing down the stairs while holding onto the railing. And I'm like, God damn, like, that's... When you talk about, like, the pinnacle of, like, physical comedy for probably an entire generation, like... It's Chevy Chase, right? He just does it so well. And then even like with the lamps and the books, like he doesn't have tree sap on his hands, but God damn it, you believe he does.
Yeah. He's great in this.
Cousin Eddie this is arguably the best performance of Cousin Eddie out of any of the vacation movies. Just he's the most memorable in here. He's got some of the funniest lines. I don't know about the cat, Clark, but I sure am enjoying it.
Mm-hmm. His fucking leisure suits are amazing.
Oh, yeah. The physical comedy, again, as well, like when they're shopping through Walmart and they get the Old Roy dog food and they fucking just smashes a 4-pack of light bulbs.
Yep.
Just like, and just smashes it down. Just like that silly little shit that you're like, if you've ever been shopping with an idiot, well, it's captured on film there. They really capture that moment. And that's the thing, like, you know, everyone's got that family member they probably don't really like a lot. Like, I don't think Clark Griswold gets enough credit for the shit he puts up with from Cousin Eddie because, like, it really drives him crazy. But at the same time, like, he's humored by him, right? So it's like, it's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, it depends on Clark's mood entirely on how he takes Eddie.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of my favorite things in the original Vacation that Eddie does with him.
Real tomato ketchup?
Not even that. That is great, too. That movie, I mean, as far as the vacation movies go, the first one and the Christmas Vacation are neck and neck. But the first one has that scene where he's like, you want a beer, Clark? And he hands him his, like, almost empty beer.
Empty, warm beer,
and then he opens the new one, and he's
just
like...
chugs out of it?
Yeah,
Yes.
and he's like, he doesn't have any more beer for him. He's just, that's a total fucking dick. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty heroic. No, but this is, you know, it's so good just the way they have everything set up.
But yeah, Mom always laughed her ass off and pointed out the fact that he was wearing his dickie wrong.
Oh,
like
yeah.
a fucking black dickie, and then
with
the
a white shirt. Yeah, you can always
white
see that
V-neck
underneath.
sweater
Yes.
over it.
It's amazing.
And I love that scene because he goes over and he fucks up the windmill thing or whatever that is, this little Christmas display that's going on.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. Of course, that's the scene with the mugs, the Marty Moose mugs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love how they have that in there without just keeping it canon, right?
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's good.
So,
I like seeing it there.
The other thing that's really interesting in there is, like, you know, when he goes and picks up Brian Doyle Murray is Mr. Shirley. And he's got him fucking wrapped up in a bow tie because he delivers him exactly
All right,
as...
he's still fired, and you're going to jail.
Well, he picks him up and brings him exactly as Clark wishes for, right? It's like,
Yeah.
goddamn, like, who's the real Santa Claus in this movie? So, it's pretty heroic there. He does a great job as Cousin Eddie, right? They have such a natural conflict but like that love-hate relationship. It's so good when those ones, right? And I think that was missing in European Vacation. I think that's kind of why that takes fourth place for me out of all the vacation films. That's my least favorite. Hot take.
I stopped listening for a second there. Did you say Vegas Vacation was your least favorite or European?
European Vacation. I like Vegas Vacation more than European.
I like the kids more in Vegas Vacation for sure, but some of the plot points and things that happen in European are excellent too. But yeah, I don't know. I'd probably say Vegas because I've seen it more also.
Well, overall, European Vacation, the kids kind of fall flat in that as their acting performance. They're just not nearly as funny, and then you don't really have that Cousin Eddie kind of a character to like drive like.
Well, yeah, Cousin Eddie in Vegas Vacation's great. Has like money buried in coffee cans all over his fucking yard, and like dumps out snakes, and is like, "There's the babysitter."
Yep. Pretty much.
They go to the buffet. I'll have some of the blue and some of the yellow. Yeah.
Oh, is Rusty still in the Navy?
Is your house on fire, Clark? They didn't move to a new house. Grace, she passed away 30 years ago.
This was her last film.
Grace, they want you to say Grace, the blessing.
And she was the voice of Betty Boop.
Oh, yeah. I think I did read that. So, if you haven't seen the commentary for this movie as well, watch it. It's fun. One of the things I learned in the commentary, they shot this obviously not in wintertime, so all the stuff's like on the back lot as far as the outdoor house scene stuff, and there's no fog in anyone's breath there, I guess, right? You don't see any of that. So
it has a memorable score too, just like I can hear the music in my head where Clark's out there trying to put up the fucking Christmas lights.
All the they just have those little transition pieces that just stay with you because they're well done. And then they have a good mix of like silly songs, but also fun songs in there, right? So it's an excellent score.
And I like how he's, overarching his career in food preservatives and shit. It's fucking just hilarious in general. You see that payoff finally in Vegas Vacation when he eats the fucking 3-year-old cookies and milk or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just funny to see him at work in this one more because it is, it's a Christmas vacation like the movie says, hey. And I like seeing Mr. Shirley, and that Brian Doyle Murray is just great as him, so.
Yeah. And
put it where they were the other ones, greaseball.
Yeah.
Then give me somebody while I'm waiting.
Yeah.
And I like the other subtle note in there is they're all the same package, just dressed in different wrapping paper. Yeah. That's beautiful.
He calls him Carl at the end of the movie, too.
Yeah. He calls him the wrong name every time he says to him, and it's usually a different name.
Also, next time you watch this, listen for the sound effect of Beverly D'Angelo's hand impacting Chevy Chase's package.
Oh, yeah, when she grabs after she shakes the officer's hand at the end. Yeah.
Well, she was already holding his junk, but then she shakes his hand and goes back to holding his junk.
And then cups it again, yeah.
But just the firm little... But it's not like that. It's like a really deep sound, like, oh, yeah, she just grabbed that fucking Chevy schlong.
Yeah, so Christmas Vacation, it's a fucking true American classic.
Yeah. I think I have this on VHS. I'm not 100% sure. I do have maybe on VHS without a slipcover for sure.
Now, some people really like A Christmas Story, and they'll watch that over and over, like when TBS will play that shit like on repeat, and I'm just like, yeah, that movie's, that's okay. I maybe watch that every other year, every 3 years, because it's all right. It just doesn't...
It's just way lower on the rankings for me than everybody else.
There's some fun stuff in there, but like if I had to watch one Christmas movie and I could only choose one to watch, this is hands down going to be it because this cracks me up every time, no matter how many times I see it. Hands down.
Yeah.
So that's Christmas Vacation. Let us know what your thoughts on it are. We'll be out there.
We now return to the real Ghostbusters.
Diane, 11:30 a.m., February 24th. Entering the town of Twin Peaks.
Pretty good. Bill Murray's the funniest man on the planet.
Episode by episode.
Episode by episode.
Episode by episode. This week, it's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. A very sunny Christmas.
This episode is amazing. Anyone that loves meme culture has to know this episode. And even if you don't know this episode, you probably know this episode.
If you've ever seen Danny DeVito climb out of a couch naked, you've seen at least a couple frames, if not one frame of this episode.
You've seen an important plot point in this episode. If you've ever heard Danny DeVito say, "When I'm dead, throw me in the trash," you understand an important part of this episode.
Check it out on Hulu. It's season 6, episode 13.
Excellent. Thank you for the important safety tip.
All right. Thanks, Egon. So this one starts out on Christmas Eve, and then it ends somewhere Christmas morning. But there's some interesting things in here, like Omnibot, seeing Omnibot in there. They're fucking with Simon Says and all that. That's pretty funny shit. Just like some nostalgia tripping, And then it's funny because then they're like, oh, Omnibot's got this tape. Well, let's watch it. And it's fucking Mac's childhood. And it's one of the first of many twists where they realized something fucked up was wrong when they were kids. And it was that, his family was stealing their presents and shit.
Oh, yeah.
And that scene is gold.
Well, I love how that escalates and how it escalates so quickly, right? Because you realize like that Dee and Dennis do not like Christmas right off the bat in the bar, and they're kind of irritated with Charlie and Mac because they're decorating the bar, and they're like, "It's the day before Christmas. What the fuck are you doing?" Like, it's our tradition, right? It's our tradition. And they're all in the holiday spirit, full on going, and then from there everything starts to turn to shit, and you realize like everyone has traumatic Christmas experiences, and you get to go into this fun ride to see how fucked up shit was, and it's pretty damn entertaining.
So, after they watch the video and they discover that Mac's whole childhood was fucked up because they stole their presents on Christmas, then they go over to Charlie's mom's house, and he's like, "Yeah, man, come on over and we'll just get in the Christmas spirit. My mom, she'll have eggnog, blah, blah, blah." They go over there, and then, Charlie makes sort of a offhand comment about how, the Santas come over and they come by, and Mac's just like, "What? What do you mean? What do you mean the Santas come by? I think you think your mom was a whore based on the story you just told me."
Yeah, I think your mom is a prostitute.
And then he just is like, Charlie's reaction, and he's like, "No, no, no!" And he has to be like fucking torn out of the fucking building.
Oh yeah, it's pretty amazing.
That's gold. There's a little cameo from Derek Waters before he was bigger and more famous. Probably when he was just, doing smaller acting roles. Guy who does Drunk History, but he works in the toy store.
Yeah, which that's one funny thing they don't even address in that episode, which was kind of cracking me up. They're like, Mac asked for, like, give us the most popular Christmas toy you have in store. And the guy tells them about a fucking item that they're sold out of. And then they're, like, trying to talk him into getting the other one. But I'm like, they're making a joke about something else. And I'd been like, why the fuck did you tell me about something that's sold out, you piece of shit? Who the fuck wants to hear about what you don't have? I said, what's the number one thing you have that's popular in this store? Like, bunch of dickheads. That pissed me off, but I found it funny.
Redmond the robot. So then, of course, there's a legendary scene, which we take some of our holiday intro from, where Charlie gets triggered when he sees Santa Claus at the mall.
And mind you, they go there to like cheer themselves up again and get back in the spirit, right?
And Charlie is in the middle of pep-talking Mac when he sees Santa Claus and stops.
Like all of a sudden, yeah, like he almost goes white in the face, right? And just like gets in his zone.
He gets this crazy look on his eyes, and they change the atmosphere of the music, and you can hear it kind of like get lost and sounds dreamy because they're adding a bunch of reverb. And he approaches Santa and sits on his lap.
Well, you're a big boy, aren't you?
Yeah, and he eventually ends up saying, "Did you fuck my mom? Did you fuck my mom, Santa Claus? Did you fucking fuck my mom, Santa Claus?"
Yeah, did you fuck my fucking mom, Santa Claus? And you're like, oh yeah. And then he fucking bites Santa Claus like full-on Mike Tyson style, which later on he mentions biting the neck, but you couldn't really tell before. You just see like blood-covered Santa and blood-covered Charlie.
Blood spraying everywhere, basically, and then he's pulled back, and Santa Claus is laying on the ground, and fucking Mac tries to drag him out of there, and it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and Mac smacks a kid in there, and they just fucking hightail it out, which is, yeah, it's heroic.
They like elbowed the kid's mom in the face, and she's laid out.
Oh, yeah. This is what Christmas is about.
Yeah, and meanwhile, you got Dennis and Dee doing their own like little Christmas special thing where they're trying to, they find Frank's old partner that he thinks is dead, and then they try to get him to do the Christmas Carol and fuck with him and get him to be the ghost, right?
Yeah, I love how they make him wear fucking chains, and they're like,
Yeah, you got to wear the chains.
Use more of a vibrato in your voice, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Frank!
And
Yeah,
then,
that's fucking great.
Frank sees that there's he sees the smoke they put out there and thinks there's a fire, grabs a fucking chair and throws it through, tries to escape, and then they come in, they're like, Frank, calm the fuck down. He grabs a golf club and starts swinging at him like...
Ghost!
Yeah, he's breaking a bunch of shit.
Fucking Danny DeVito is so on point because, like, again, he's another really good physical actor, right? The shit he does is so perfect, especially in Always Sunny.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just him swinging that golf club around, like the way he throws that fucking window through the chair through the window, and yeah, it's perfect.
The man is a legend.
We should get him on the podcast.
He'd be a good one on the podcast.
Yeah, do you have his phone number?
I do. Well, I have Rhea Perlman's phone number. And
Well, I mean, if you really had Rhea Perlman's phone number, and at this point you hadn't told us, we'd fire you on the spot.
Probably so. I mean, I think that'd be...
We'd probably get the number from you and then be
I
like...
heard they're divorcing, which is really makes me sad for some reason.
I don't think they did. I think they reconciled or whatever.
Oh, that warms my heart then.
I mean, if you still have a heart that you can warm, that's good.
It's reheated.
If it gets cold, reheat it, then eat it.
Okay.
Lyrics from Eat It from Weird Al.
Oh, yes.
I do like the little the bit at the end where Frank is hallucinating, and it's like an old Christmas music's like a TV special style thing, like the Rudolph.
Oh yeah, the old animation, the old
Frosty the Snowman.
Yeah, all that kind of shit.
Oh, the racist raisins where they come out in KKK hoods and then they reveal the California raisins was fucking on point. 'Cause that shit's hilarious.
Yeah, I still see like in toy groups people posting about California raisins.
Yeah,
and shit.
I was
And every
just
time I
about to
see them, I'm
say.
like, you fucking, what do you want that for?
I had quite a collection of those from Hardee's when I was a kid. I think that's where they were from.
I remember my grandma had some.
Yeah, there's a little piece of bread. Yeah, there's a little piece of bread that would play the song. You could put the California raisins on it, whatever. And you're like, you look at it now and you're like, how the fuck did they get away with that? And what the fuck's wrong with you for making that? But, again, we've come a long way, but there's still a long ways to go.
The 80s were a special time.
Cocaine was rampant.
There's good and bad in there.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug. Yeah, I got a little more sense than that. I can grind my feet on this couch. Yeah, I grind my feet on this couch. You can afford another one.
So, I think that's all we have to say about that episode. I mean, it's a great episode. It's one of the best Christmas specials I think that a TV show has done, especially, it's not something you see a bunch anymore where they'll double the length for like a Christmas special.
The other thing I'll say on this episode, though, is like the kid version of Mac and Charlie were fucking on point.
Yes.
Like, they felt so accurate for
I
that.
think the one who did Mac was even a little bit better than the one who did Charlie,
for sure.
but they were
yeah.
great, yeah.
Yeah, and that was the other thing in there, like where you see like Mac lose his shit over getting a Cabbage Patch doll, and you're like, first you're like, what the fuck, and then you realize that then you realize they're stealing other people's stuff, and that moment just reminded me of that episode in Curb Your Enthusiasm where he gives the kid a sewing machine because that's what he wants. So
it's one of my favorite episodes because Larry's not in the wrong there.
No,
kid wants a sewing machine, get it.
Yeah,
yes,
if I can get them what they want. Like, you ever heard of this thing called being a tailor? Like, that used to be a profession that was something to be proud of.
I hope the guy that lives here is a tailor. Little Santa Claus Tim Allen action for you. 90s quotes tonight, folks. That's all we are.
They're fresh. They're as fresh as they were then today.
Yeah, they're fresh. They're moldy Tim Allen quotes, baby.
Yeah, he hasn't aged well.
Are we going to cover those movies in 2021?
We'll see. There's a lot.
We're going
to
cover that movie.
Yeah, we'll talk about the first one.
Not the trilogy.
I like to pretend the other two didn't happen because they're hot flaming garbage. That was called that's what they call a cash grab.
Oh.
Even Martin Short, like they have Martin Short in a movie, and I don't even fucking like it. I'm like, how do you have two people that are funny? Obviously, Martin Short would be the ideal one to be amazing in that movie, and you're just like, you fucked up Martin Short. What the fuck's wrong with you?
See, I didn't even remember that he was in it. That's how long it's been since I've seen either of the sequels.
Frost or whatever in the third.
I think I saw the second or third one with a church group. That's how long ago this was.
Yeah, Alec went there for a minute, and then he.
This is like.
Were you trying to bang someone in the choir?
I was in like fourth, fifth grade at the time.
Yeah.
And I was hanging out with my friend Nathan, who listens to the podcast, shout out, and we went to church. And actually, that was not a bad church. There was some respectable people there. I will give them that.
Non-denominational?
However, it was still a church, so I don't believe any of the things there that happened. But the people that I went to, it wasn't a terrible church.
Jesus loves you, Alec.
It's a church out in Olathe. But either way, that's where I saw it, with like a fucking church group. And I was just like, I remember being extremely disappointed. Being like, this is bad.
Yeah, they just didn't work. You didn't need to tell that story, right? I mean, if you're going to do that, why wouldn't you have somebody else be Santa Claus, right?
Yeah, I don't know. The first one it's a very good movie still. It holds up for children. Obviously, as an adult, you're going to find different things to enjoy about it, but...
Well, yeah, I mean, as a divorced dad myself, like, there's things in that movie that you're like, yeah, that's kind of funny. Now, obviously, I'm not fucking grossly incompetent, but there's things about that you could relate to. Nick's over here fucking shaking his head like...
Does this look like a little weight to you?
Not grossly.
Yeah. I'm competent. I'm just an asshole. There's a difference. But I am nice to the people I like, so... And if I'm an asshole to you personally, it probably means I know you and trust you. I'm just not an asshole to strangers like true assholes are, you know what I mean? Know what I mean, Vern?
Know what I mean. Well, I believe that's all we have this week. Unless you want to hear me ramble about anal and blowjobs and peeners and wieners for the next 20 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and shut these microphones off, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, let's cut this shit.
And I know last week we said we were covering Gremlins and Batman Returns, but we swapped weekends for that.
Yeah, so next week we're doing Gremlins and Batman Returns.
We've got a double feature to support one of our local
We will be seeing Gremlins 1 and 2 at Screenland Armor in Kansas City on Sunday.
Skeetworthy.
Yes, so if you enjoy those movies and you're in the area, you might see us there if you decide to support a local business.
If you decide to assassinate us, that'd
Yeah,
be a
don't
good time.
mug us outside afterward.
If someone tries to do that, I'm going to pull my pants down and just...
We don't carry cash.
You know what?
I'll just tell them all my cash is up my ass. You got to reach.
Oh, yeah,
you got to get it out.
I was going to pull my pants down so they could swipe their card.
That way you're collecting money?
Yeah. Trick them.
All right, I'm gonna hit stop now. This is bad.
These are my dinner guests, the Frog Brothers. Frog Brothers. Frog Brothers. These are my dinner guests, Frog Brothers. Frog Brothers. Frog Brothers. These are my dinner guests, the Frog Brothers. Frog Brothers. Frog Brothers. These are my dinner guests, Frog Brothers. Frog Brothers. Frog Brothers. These are my dinner guests, the Frog Brothers. Frog Brothers. Frog Brothers. These are my dinner guests, Frog Brothers. Frog Brothers. Frog Brothers. These are my dinner guests.
Hey, try not to suck any dick on the way through the parking lot.